Dispenser going up. Well, I guess that'll do.
A lot of you guys in the comments section ask me,
Uncle Dan, what is the difference between level 2 Sentry and level 3 Sentry?
good question. Let's start off by looking at the damage stats for each level of a sentry gun. Get ready for some super complicated math. So a sentry gun fires bullets and each bullet does damage. And all 3 levels of a sentry gun fire the same type of bullets, meaning each individual shot does the same number of damage no matter what distance the target is from the sentry and no matter what level the sentry gun is. One sentry bullet does 16 damage. Now, a level 1 sentry gun will fire 4 of these bullets per second, which means a level 1 sentry gun does 64 damage per second, or DPS. Now, a level 2 sentry gun fires the same bullets, but twice as fast, so that means that it's now firing 16 damage bullets at 8 rounds per second, which means that a level 2 sentry gun has a DPS of 128. Now here's where the difference between level 2 and level 3 sentry guns begins to become apparent. When it comes to a level 3 sentry gun, the bullet damage as well as the firing speed is no different than the level 2. Yep, that's right. A level 3 sentry gun fires bullets at 8 rounds per second, which means that the DPS of a level 3 is 128, just like the level 2. However, you may be fully aware that a level 3 sentry gun also shoots rockets. These rockets fire once every 3 seconds, and the damage can range between 50 and 150. This damage is affected by fall-off, but weirdly enough it's calculated from the distance of the engineer to the target and not from the sentry gun itself. Sentry rockets obviously add to the overall DPS of a level 3 sentry gun, but considering that 1, the rockets fire every 3 seconds while the bullets fire consistently, 2, the rockets do inconsistent damage depending on where you are in relation to the enemy, and 3, the rockets aren't guaranteed to hit the target it's aiming at. Rockets fired by a robot are less accurate against moving targets because it fires at where the enemy is currently at instead of where they're going to be. If you've ever played Soldier, you'll know that the further you are from a target or how fast the target is moving, the more you'll have to adjust your aim to get the rocket to land in the correct spot. Sentry guns don't know how to do this, so most of the time that a sentry fires a rocket at a moving target that's a fair distance away, it's pretty unlikely that the rocket will actually hit. Rockets can also be blocked by your own teammates, so relying on the sentry rockets isn't really a thing. So if we're looking at consistent damage output, a level 2 and a level 3 sentry gun are very, very similar. Both fire bullets at the same rate for the same damage, both even have the same amount of ammo capacity. The only difference is the level 3 gets rockets, which do massive burst damage, albeit a little less reliably than usual. Next, we could look at the difference in health between the levels of sentry guns. A level 1 has 150 health, a level 2 has 180 health, and a level 3 has 216 health. So a level 3 has 36 more health than a level 2, which doesn't seem like much, but it actually can make all the difference in the world. A level 3 sentry gun can survive 2 direct rockets, but a level 2 cannot. A sapper takes 1.5 seconds longer to destroy a level 3 sentry gun than a level 2 sentry gun. Sticky bombs are pretty difficult to predict the damage of, but an extra 38 damage needed to destroy it certainly does help. Extra health means it can fire for longer, and considering it only takes 1 second for a leveled sentry to do 128 damage, every second spent alive can definitely count. Next, we can talk about something that everyone wonders about: size. Is it better to be bigger or smaller? Because believe it or not, every level of a sentry gun increases the size of the gun by a little bit, and in TF2, size does certainly matter. As a sentry gun levels up, it gets bigger, but that also means that the hitbox of the sentry gun increases in size as well. The smaller the sentry, the harder it is to hit, even if it's very slight. But more importantly, as the gun levels up, the barrel of the gun gets slightly higher, which you can use to your advantage when placing the gun behind ledges. Hiding the bulk of the sentry gun behind a ledge, but allowing the top of the gun to peek over it, can be pretty powerful. It allows the sentry gun to fire normally, but makes it harder for enemies to damage it since they can only see part of the sentry gun's hitbox. The higher the level of the sentry gun, the higher off the ground the barrels get, so that means you can hide more of the gun behind the ledge while still allowing it to fire normally. And the last thing to look at about a sentry gun is the redeploy time. When moving that gear up, sometimes you'll meet an undesirable player and be forced to set down your sentry gun and let it do the killing for you. In this case, the lower the level, the faster your gun will be able to start firing. When a gun is redeployed, it has to go through an unskippable animation of upgrading from level 1 to level 2 and from level 2 to level 3 before it can start shooting. This is the biggest difference between a level 2 and a level 3 sentry gun, especially if you're using a wrench to play aggressively and are constantly moving your sentry from one area to the next. Each upgrade animation takes about 1 second, and it cannot be sped up by hitting your gun with the wrench, which can be devastating if you need your sentry gun to be doing the damage as soon as possible. A level 1 sentry gun doesn't have to go through the upgrade animation, so it can start firing as soon as it's done building. A level 2 has to go through the animation once, and a level 3 has to go through the animation twice. This means you'll have to wait an extra 2 seconds before your level 3 sentry gun can start firing. A lot of things can happen in 2 seconds. A scout could easily unload his entire clip into the gun at point-blank range. A demo man could place more than enough stickies underneath it, and worst of all, you'll be very vulnerable with no sentry gun to help you for an entire 2 seconds, and it's pretty easy to die in 2 seconds. So the higher level the gun, the longer it takes to start shooting after you place it down, which can matter a lot. Generally, if you have a level 3 or even a level 2 gun in hand, it's better to be more passive about how far away from an enemy you place it down. So overall, the difference between using a level 2 and a level 3 sentry gun comes down to your situational preference. Some things are good about using a level 2, and some things are good about using a level 3. As we just went over, there are 4 basic categories of stats that you need to look at when comparing the two: DPS, health, height, and speed. And to put it all in a nice little box of information, I made a pros and cons list for level 2s and level 3s for you. Ain't I nice? There are also a few extra points to be made that didn't fall into the 4 categories, and that includes the fact that it takes an extra 200 metal to get from level 2 to level 3. That 200 metal could either be hard to come by, or maybe you're getting better value out of just using that 200 metal to build another building, or use it to repair the damage on your current level 2 sentry. It's also worth noting that you can't Wrangler jump with a level 2, which could be worth it if you enjoy placing your sentry in hard to reach places, or soaring to heights where no engineer belongs.
Ooh, Barracuda!
Anyway, thanks so much for watching as usual, and I will bye to you nieces and next time's nephew. Talk.
Uncle Dan, I don't know difference between level 2 sentry and level 3 sentry. Can you help me, please? What the fuck am I saying?